Hey everyone, I'm King. Welcome back to Kingspade channel. So I have been wondering about the other pads. Beside the varied pad, what are the other pad options for the penetration build, especially because I am using the penetration build. One pad that caught my attention is the ISIS pad. Now the ISIS pad have the crit damage aptitude. Obviously it is not compatible with the penetration build because the crit damage stat from the ISIS pad will not increase the penetration damage. It's a two different build, different playstyle. But the ISIS pad unique skill or talent is rather intriguing. The ISIS pad enables their master's normal attack to ignore some of the target's defense, which is so odd. We know that the crit damage in ROX is already ignore the target defense, but interestingly, it still has a talent that makes your attack to ignore more defense, which is redundant and can I say not useful for the crit build, which then let me think maybe the ISIS pad can be used by the penetration build instead. The penetration stat in the penetration build is a direct counter to the target defense, so any skill that can help reduce the target defense is actually good for the penetration build. It will further increase the damage. So let's test it out. Is the ISIS pad will be a good pad for the penetration build. So let's start by catching the ISIS pad. As usual, I already have a lot of pad taming item in my backpack. I don't need to buy it at the pet store. So let's get the ISIS. Alright, caught a grade pad on the first try. That is good, and on top of that it got a good start as well. Now looking at the stats, it got high points for physical attack, high points for physical damage bonus, and high points for lifesteal stat. At 18 and 19 points, the crit damage bonus is only 10 points, which I don't actually want a high crit damage. In fact, I don't actually need it. The crit damage stat will not have any effect on my penetration build. It will not increase my overall damage. By all means, it can be 0 and allocate the points to the other stat. That will be even better, right? But I do not get the ISIS for its stat, but for its talent skill. So it can make your normal attack to ignore 48% of the target defense, which 48% is a lot. But the key point here is the master's normal attack. It only affects your normal attack and not skill related damage. And also the target's defense here I guess refers to the target flat defense stat only, not the target's final defense stat, which is a bummer, but we are going to test it nonetheless. So here we are in the testing area. I'm going to test it on the geographer. First, let's look at the normal attack damage without the ISIS talent skill. The damage is about 468,000. And next, use the normal attack again after the ISIS pad use its talent skill. The normal attack damage is about 540,000. That is an increase of about 15% damage. Now currently I have about 360% funnel penetration stat. The geographer funnel defense according to the database made by ROX unit Discord team is about 155%. So I actually deal double penetration stat damage to the geographer. If I want to convert the additional 15% damage relative to the penetration stat, I guess it will be half of that number. So maybe an additional of around 7% funnel penetration. Now why I want to make a computation on the funnel penetration stat from this damage. This will be important later on, so just take that in mind. This is just a rough guess from my part. Obviously it will involve much more complex calculation and also depends on the target's total defense, but let's just roll with that. Now on the Discord, players had said that the Isis talent skill do not affect the MVP. So let's test that too since we are at it. So let's test it on the Frioni, starting with the normal attack without the Isis pad talent skill. The normal attack damage is 617,000. Use the normal attack again after the Isis pad use its talent skill. The damage is still 617,000. So yeah, the Isis talent skill does not affect the MVP. So what can we conclude from this? From the test, from the Isis pad talent skill, 48% ignore defense increases the damage dealt by 15%, which also from my rough estimation additional of around 7% final penetration stat. Since this is a pad talent skill, the number is fixed regardless of how high the pad Isis level is. The talent skill stat will only increase with the pad stars. As you increase the pad stars, its talent will also have better stat. That being said, if I compare to the other pad that has the penetration aptitude like the Desert Wolf or the Varied pad, the penetration stat will increase relatively with the pad's level. The higher the pad's level, the higher the penetration aptitude or stat value, and subsequently reach higher stat than the Isis talent skill ignore defense fixed stat. It is so much better if the Isis have the penetration aptitude instead of the crit damage. This way the Isis pad then can be a good package for the penetration build. Right now it is a miss for the crit build because of the not so useful talent for the crit build. At the same time, it is also not a great combination to the penetration build either. The other pads can give way more stat value or damage boost than the Isis talent skill can provide. Alright, what do you think of the Isis pad? Is it a great pad to use? Let me know your thought at a comment below. That's it for this video. This time video shoutout goes to... Thank you for always supporting me and this channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And also don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next video. And as always, happy playing. Bye bye.